Knowing how to use a handheld flashlight is incredibly important for shooting in a low light context. Want to take your knowledge beyond the narrated videos? Join us on Active Self-Protection Extra and subscribe for multiple videos every week to help you get better in your defensive skills. Hi everyone, this is John with today's Active Self-Protection lesson out of Pasadena, Texas. This is actually the second officer-involved incident that we've had out of Pasadena in about the last 3 weeks. And it's going to teach us some very significant lessons about the response to danger and how important it is to be able to get your firearm out and in the fight in an emergency. Number two, we're going to really learn about low light shooting techniques here and the importance of a small, powerful light and the ability to use it effectively. If you go read the news story in the description, what you'll see is that the perp here matches the description of a guy who was banging on a woman's door and ringing her doorbell. And so she called the cops, and the cops are out looking for this guy because she called them. And this is where it picks up and all the information this officer has as the action begins. So let's listen in on his badge cam, and then we'll come back and learn some lessons.
Hey, come here for a second, man. Come here for a second. Oh, don't do it! Shots fired! Shots fired! He has a gun! Shots fired!
Calling in for traffic on one.
Let me see your hands! Let me see your hands!
We actually have dash cam as well, so we're going to see the officer come over here and call the guy over and get a little bit of light on him. Now the gun comes out and you can see he gets 2 shots there, there's another 2 shots, and then that's the end of the shooting. Now the perp is actually, he runs off, and they found out in the news story that it was actually pellet gun. So let's go back and learn some lessons on this. When officer comes up, everything's cool, hey man, come here, and I want to talk to you. And he gets his light up and on target. And I want to talk real quick about the effectiveness of a handheld light. You got to watch out for that photonic barrier. You see some of the light hit the fence and bounce back on the officer, and you can see how little of it got all the way through to the perp and then all the way back to the officer, which is why a very bright, excellent, good handheld light is important. So now the officer's going to see, holy cow, something's going on here, and draw his gun. And you might have said when you first saw it, was there a gun? Well, there it is right there. You can see the one he had in his hand. Actually, again, go read the news story. He had 2 on him in that moment. We only see 1 on camera. The second one they recovered, the first one they recovered right there at the scene. The second one they recovered when they arrested this guy a little while later. But that's how much time, just a split second, you're going to have in order to respond. Now the officer gets his gun up and on target, but notice that he still has his flashlight in his non-dominant hand, and that messes up his shot and all kinds of stuff. So I can't tell you enough. Train to drop what is in your non-dominant hand. Train to drop what's in your hand when you have to fire, because it hurt him here. And you see him now take the light off the gun to try to get some light on where he needs to shoot, but he feels that in that moment he still has to shoot again. There's the 3rd shot. Makes it very difficult, and you got to train in low light environments to do this well. That means taking your time to get in there and go to town. Now the officer now has some time to go and look up some things, and let's think about what we're going here on this last little bit, that the officer's coming in. You can see him here. Now this is his beep. This is when he realizes something goes wrong, and I want to see how long this takes him because of the difficulty with his hands. So right now is his go time, and here he gets out and on target in 1.16 seconds. That's an excellent draw from a duty holster, excellent draw from active retention, but the hand is messing him up, so he's not able to shoot immediately because he didn't drop what was in his support hand. So he doesn't actually get a shot off until right there, which is 0.6 seconds later. So he had the gun up and out, but because of the mess with his support hand, it cost him another 0.6 seconds. Thankfully, that didn't cost him the fight, but something to think about why you want to drop the gun out of your, whatever it is, drop anything else out of your hand when you go for the gun. Now you notice here he's trying to kind of move and get some light on the subject. That's almost like a neck index he's doing there. Again, training that in a low light shooting class, incredibly important. And I do really appreciate that the officer was moving in that moment, that he was getting off the X, and that is another thing that you got to train under a proficient and qualified trainer. So there's a couple things to think about here from the shooting perspective: low light shooting techniques, handheld light shooting techniques, weapon mounted light shooting techniques that you have to work on in a class. And this officer shows us why we all need those things to cover our ASP.